After talking about the very first Legend of Zelda game, The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo Entertainment System, it's only reasonable to also take a look at its sequel, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. After the first game became a bestseller for Nintendo and easily sold over millions of copies after its release, it only took a year for Nintendo to release this sequel. The game itself became another bestseller too, with ultimately selling over 4.3 million copies. For a very long time, this game should be the only direct sequel in the series, and it tells a new adventure of our hero Link after he defeated the evil Prince of Porkness Ganon and saved the young Princess Zelda. Zelda 2 did not only get an upgrade in the graphical department, but also saw the introduction of new gameplay mechanics. So why don't we start there? Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link still has the player move through a detailed overworld map of Hyrule to progress through the game, but special action screens and RPG-like enemy encounters would put the player into a side-scrolling perspective, giving the player a closer look at Link, his enemies and his surroundings. Nintendo also added a level up mechanic. You're able to gather experience points by defeating enemies, picking up so-called P-bags, or by finishing a dungeon. Gathering a certain amount of experience points can then be used to upgrade Link's attack power, his health and his magic meter. This should make the game easier for new players, but in my opinion, this could have been left out, since grinding for experience can be really time consuming and tedious. I even got a live recording of my grind for experience points to showcase this for you.
This is so exciting! Yay!
But here is an actual useful tip. If you want to grind experience fast, make your way to the 5th dungeon. In this room with the falling blocks, wait for them to fill up the room and cut yourself a walkway like this. Move forward until these floating douchebags appear and hack away. Their infinite respawn makes this a great spot to farm experience points and even potions to refill your magic meter. And you did not miss here. Yes, I said magic meter. For the first time in a Zelda game, Link was able to collect magic spells to aid him in his adventure. For example, the player is able to find a shield spell to reduce damage taken from enemies, there is a jump spell to help Link reaching higher ground,
the high ground,
and a fairy spell which transforms him into a tiny little fairy. But his magic abilities aren't the only thing Link can improve on. He can also further his combat abilities by learning an upward and downward thrust attack. Since we talked about the new stuff added to the game, let's take a look at what stayed the same. Just like the first game, the player is able to explore the vast kingdom of Hyrule to find heart containers to upgrade his life meter, or you can go on a hunt for potions which upgrade your magic meter. There are also little Link dolls hidden in Hyrule which add more continues to your game. I have no idea who made these dolls, and I don't think I wanna know. At least Link seems really happy about playing with his little self.
nice.
Another similarity are the dungeons in the game. The player has to go through 7 palaces, where he has to fight his way through hordes of enemies, evade traps, and collect keys to open up new paths. Once again, each temple is protected by a boss our hero has to defeat. The palaces also hold special items like a raft, a flute, or even a candle you will need to collect to progress through the game. The palaces on their own are really fun to play through, but they get a little bit repetitive as they don't offer much variety in their layout and looks. The only real things you can use to tell them apart is the color palette and the color of drapes they used in the boss fight room. So now that I've bored you enough with the technical details, let's get to the fun part, the story and the game itself. Some time has passed since Ganon's defeat and Princess Zelda's rescue by the valiant lad Link. Yes, I said valiant lad, because that's what the game's manual calls him, and I like it. Although Ganon was defeated, Link was still in danger. The minions of the Prince of Darkness are literally out for his blood. No, really, they needed to mix it with Ganon's remains to bring the evil pig back. This could easily have been avoided if Link took some time to get rid of that Ganon dust back in The Legend of Zelda. Just vacuum it up or something. But I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry. Ganon's minions aren't Link's only problem. Close to his 16th birthday, a mysterious mark of a Triforce appeared on his hand. Spooked out about that, he asked Princess Zelda's nursemaid Impa for help. Seeing the strange mark, Impa shares an old secret with our hero. Generations ago, the King of Hyrule used the Triforce to bring peace to his kingdom. Later the king died and all sorts of nasty people wanted to get their hands on the Triforce. The daughter of said king, another princess named Zelda, was the only person who knew the location of the Triforce of Power, Wisdom and Courage, and was cursed with a sleeping spell by an evil wizard. Impa even reveals to Link that this same Zelda is still alive and asleep in a secret part of Hyrule Castle. Just to clear things up, this sleeping Zelda and the Zelda from the first game are two different women. The more you know. Impa also hands Link an old scroll written by the aforementioned king, telling Link that he is the chosen one, destined to wield the Triforce of Courage. To retrieve said Triforce, he has to enter the Great Palace and go through a test of courage. There is only one problem. The Great Palace is barred with magic, and to break that barrier, Link has to travel to 6 different temples to put some crystals in statues there. Yes, I know, the last part sounds kinda dumb, but there has to be a reason for our hero to travel to the different dungeons, right? Link once again sets out into the Kingdom of Hyrule on an adventuresome quest to find the Triforce of Courage. Yes, adventuresome is another word the manual used, and I like it too. This is also where our adventure begins. After getting accustomed to the gameplay, we can set out into the world for some exploration. There are 8 different towns for us to find in Hyrule, and at first glance, they don't look too different from each other. But the important part of each town is its people. Let's take a look at the town of RooView, for example. The people here provide Link with clues on how to progress on his adventuresome quest. Just like another NES game I recently played, and which coincidentally came out around the same time? Weird. Some NPCs are just there to talk to Link, like the famous "I am error" guy. Let me give you a spicy bonus fact. Lots of people think that this iconic line is a translation error, but I beg to differ. After meeting Error, we also run into his friend Bagu. And it can't be a coincidence that his name sounds suspiciously a lot like computer bug. Error and Bagu may be a little in-joke of the game's programmers. Sadly, nobody at Nintendo came forward to either deny or confirm this theory. I guess we'll never know. Other NPCs in these towns also offer little side quests. Let me give you an example. We have to find a trophy for this lady for her to invite us to talk to her uncle. This kind old man teaches us the jump spell in return. Almost every town in the game has this sort of side quests and rewards, like the rescue and return of a kidnapped child in Darunia. And some of you Zelda fans may caught onto something. Rauru and Darunia are the names of characters appearing in later Zelda games. Other town names include Naburu, Huto, and Mido. The more you know. Now, where was I? Right, things to do in town. Earlier I talked about Link's advanced combat abilities. These can also be found in those towns. Back in Darunia, you just have to jump up to this building and Super Mario your way down the chimney. The guy inside will teach you the upward thrust attack in return for invading his home. Of course, I'm not going to list every single side quest and advanced move in this review, just know that they are easy to find if you keep your eyes open. And I almost forgot another important part regarding Hyrule's towns. In each town, Link has the opportunity to refill his health and magic for free. Just locate those ladies in red and they'll invite you into the homes to take care of you. I guess that's where Link's up and down thrust really has to stand the test. If you know what I mean.
Nice.
You didn't really think I would not make that joke. Come on, it's me. To refill your magic meter, just talk to these kind old ladies. Link doesn't care about age, he loves all the ladies. Now that we got the obvious sex jokes and towns out of the way, let's continue our adventure by moving on to the first dungeon. The Parappa Palace is going to give you an understanding of what to expect from the game's temples. You will encounter traps, locked doors, and a wide variety of enemies. There are the standard tin suit guys, maze-throwing demons, knights, and familiar faces like bubble demons and wrist ropes, who somehow look a lot like Clansmen. Yikes. The enemies in these games feel a lot more difficult from the first game, with all of them having different patterns and strategies to defeat them. And you want to get these strategies right, since those guys know how to deplete your life and continues. But yeah, the game over screen looks pretty cool. The most important part of each dungeon though is its boss. Parappa Palace pits you against a guy with a horse head, another dungeon has you fight a fierce dragon, and another one has you duking it out with the overpowered leader of the Rizropes. Oh come on! That guy even wears a red rope! How are they not supposed to be clansmen? What the hell, Nintendo? Defeating the boss of a temple unlocks the way to a statue Link has to put his magical crystal in. What do these things remind me of?
That's a penis!
Yeah, right. Delivering all 6 crystals to the temples will unlock the final one, the Great Palace. And let me tell you, it's at this point where the game's difficulty really picks up. Just a fair warning, don't even attempt to go through this dungeon without raising all your stats to at least level 8. And don't forget to pick up the lightning spell, since you'll need it to cancel the boss's invulnerability with it. And here we are. We beat the final boss, and it's time to get our grubby hands on the Triforce of Courage. No! Yeah, there is one more duel left. Link has to face his dark side. Quite literally. I heard that a lot of people had problems with this fight, but if you want to make quick work out of Dark Link, just follow these instructions. Position yourself at the very left corner of the screen and spam the attack button. This is going to make quick work of your evil counterpart, and you are free to claim the Triforce of Courage. Your reward for all this is a little cutscene showing Link using the now complete Triforce to awake Zelda. I guess we all know what's going on behind that curtain. And there you go. This concludes my review of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. If you haven't picked up this game yet, I hope that this review sparked an interest in you. It has some issues regarding the steep difficulty curve, and the grinding can be a bitch. But once you are past the parts that make you want to rage quit, you will have a great experience ahead of you. With the second game dealt with, what are we going to review next? Oh, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I can't wait for that. Until then, thank you so much for watching. This is Roo signing off. Goodbye!